Now, students. So continuing on here. So what I've got here now is I've got my structural model imported into the architectural project. Okay, and I've created an exterior wall here. I'm going to show you that now in a second. And I've also created an interior wall too. So if you go to the ground floor plan, you'll see this. Okay, so there is my architectural CLT external wall timber finish. And I'll just give you a look at how I've made that up. Okay, so I've got a wood laminate with vertical joints on the outside here, wood batten layer, an air layer, moisture barrier, glue term 160. You're going to ask me, where did I get glue term? Well, I copied it from an existing one that was there. So that's it there. And I would have gone into maybe rigid insulation or semi-rigid or something like that. Right click, duplicate with the material and assets, rename it to glued term. So that's how I would have created that. And I've done that for a few materials along the way there. Okay, 160, 0, 50, 50, and 22. Okay, and you can see that this one wraps, the laminate wraps around the outside at the OPES. All right. Okay. Now, so that's my exterior wall. So what I would have done is I would have run this the whole way across here. And that same process that we use to cut out the OPES in the structural model. So I go into the south elevation. I would have selected the wall. I would have edited the profile. And I would have just gone in and created the OPES right the way through there as well. Okay. So, and then I've used some families that I had for the windows and the doors here as well. All right, now let's just go back to the 3D there. Okay, so that's how that one was done. And then you can obviously play around with the finish. If it's going to be on a substructure or battens or something like that, you can use a cementatious fiber board or all of those kind of things that you've been researching for the past week. And, so you might put timber there and render there, something like that. That's entirely up to you. You make the technical design decision on that. Here's a section through. And so I wanted to show you this here. There's a couple of things here. First of all, obviously my colors are coming out strong. So I'm going to have to, I use those just to highlight the beams and columns and things like that. But when I come to sections like this here, they might be a bit strong, so I might tailor them down a little bit. Let's look at a couple of things here. So there's my external wall. Sorry, that's the window. There's the external wall there. All right. And you notice that there's a gap appearing here, and that gap actually is in the structural model. And this is something that you're going to have to do. I'm going to show you here now. You might have to go backwards and forwards between the structural model if you find little errors like that, or you want to make additions onto the structural model. And to do that, what you're going to have to do is I'm just going to save the work that I've done here so far. You can't open the structural model separately if it is linked in, because it'll kick the link out, if you know what I mean. So what I'm going to have to do is file. I'll just show you that. I'll just go. No, I won't bother. I'll just close this down. And yeah, I'll synchronize with Central my edits that I've done here as well. Okay, so and again, get into that habit of saving and synchronizing on a very regular basis. Right, now, so what I want is the structural model, which I think is this one here, but I'm going to go into Autodesk Docs. That's probably the safest way to do this. I'll find my project files, the WIP, structural engineer, and so which one was I using? Oh, I think it was this one. All right. I'm going to have to get rid of those others so I don't get confused. Okay, there it is there. Now, I want a section. Okay, so I'm going to move that section down to here. And now we're going to select it. I'm going to go to view. Now, so that's what I'm talking about there. So what I need to do is align that. So modify, align, and I'm going to say to this, align that. Okay, now, that's the way I have that designed. I don't want any kind of copies around there. I'm just going to hit TL on the keyboard here. And you can see that the line's coming up quite thick here. Not so bad when you zoom out, but there might be some work that we need to do on that just to tone down the line work as well on that. Let me just go to a 3D of this one. Okay, I'm going to go around the front. That's where we're working at the moment. That's what I meant about cutting out the OPEs in the CLT wall. Now, you're going to ask me the question, do I need to do the CLT wall separate? Could I not make one big long wall, one big thick wall that has the CLT element, it has the external insulation and cladding element, and the internal service gap and plaster board finish or something like that? Well, that's a strategy, and that's entirely up to you. Where it tends to come a cropper is here, because I'm going to expose my CLT columns here. All right. So if you have one big wall that drags the whole way across here, it's probably going to drag through that there, and you'd have to go and split the wall and do various things like that. So there's kind of advantages and disadvantages on the strategy. Because there's so few kind of windows really in this building here, I thought to myself that I would put the CLT in the structure. I'd cut out the OPEs, and then once I've got the OPEs cut out, then I've got a reference point within the for the architectural model, and I can cut the OPEs out of both the interior wall and the exterior wall because I've created three walls here. Okay, but there's not a huge amount of work involved in doing that, and it's a little bit more accurate at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm just going to collaborate. I'm just going to synchronize that one up. So my colleagues now, once they open up their local copy, they'll get the updates on that. Right. Now I can close that, and I can now I'll go back into the whip, and I'll go back into the architecture, and 1st of November. This is the one I'm working on here. I'm going to go straight back into that section to make sure that that is updated. Now it's not updated. I'm going to show you how to update it. Okay, so it has updated. You see that? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick the structural model, and I'm going to go override graphics and view by category, and I'm going to halftone it. Okay. Now I can distinguish my architectural walls from the structural walls there. All right. So there is my internal wall. So I've got an internal wall finish here, and I'll just show you how I structure that. So on the exterior side, I've got, I don't know if you need a moisture barrier there. I'm not quite sure of that. You probably don't, because it's on the inside of the CLT, but you probably do need tape. Probably do need some kind of a fabric there, or some kind of a tape for the joints or something like that. So I might just change that one there. I've got a batten layer and a plasterboard. So that's my service cavity in there. It's that. Okay. And you can see that's that one there. Now, so if what I'll do here is I'll take a 3D of this here, and I think I'll just do a section box. This might be easier to show you on a section box here. Okay, so get that over there and in here. Okay, so let's get down there. Now, so you can see there's my interior wall. I need to just put a base offset of -225 here. Right, so there is my door. It needs to actually come down. So the sill height will be -225. Okay, there's that door. There's that window, and I've not correctly positioned this up on the interior for that one, or maybe I have, I can't remember whether that is correct or not, but I'll go back to it in a second. And you can see now here's the arrangement of, there's the interior wall, there's the exterior wall, and here's my window, which cut the exterior wall up. Okay, and we'll just get around here. And so that's how that is shaping up. I'm going to go back into the section here now. So I just literally hand drawn in the, I'm going to annotate insulation. Okay, I'll do it up here. And this is my, it's just an overlay showing that that's a different type of insulation that I'm using there. That's all that one is there. Okay, so there's my air cavity. Sorry, there's my on this. I've got the glue text, I've got the membrane, I've got the uh, air cavity, I've got the battens, and then I've got the batten zone, and then I've got my vertical cladding going on there. And let's just check this one down here. So I've got my glue text sitting on the ground beam that I ran in between the piers. Okay, and then I've got that insulation here. That's my block work there, and I can always drop that down a little bit here. I'll have my ground level in around here or something like that there. Okay, so that's roughly how that's working out, and it's not bad. Now, one other thing before I go, TL on the keyboard, you can see, this has gone enormous here. So I'm not sure if I can control this from here or from, or whether I have to go back into the structure and model. So I'm going to go into manage, and I'm going into object styles. Okay, let's just pull these across here. So I'm going into structural foundations down here. Structural foundation. Yeah, you can see the cut is 10, way too big. So I'm going to move that down to about 6 ply, and it should change. Yeah, there it goes there. Look. So that's what I mean. You might need to do a little bit of playing around with some of the line thicknesses here. And the object styles are global, so wherever you change them there, they will update. Yeah, and the beams are cut quite big as well. But they are when you zoom into it, but when you zoom out of it, actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, it might just cut down the cut section on those a little bit more, rather than 6, might go down to 5 or something like that. All right. There's that perennial problem of this here as well, and I will show you how we're going to solve that in probably the next video or so. So that was quite a lot of info there, and I'll just hit TL on the keyboard, get back to normality here. So summing up, interior wall, exterior wall, structural model, cutouts on those in the south elevation. So if I go into the section and select the interior wall, south elevation, I can go edit profile. Now that allows me then to do my cutouts there on that. Okay. As I said, with the 3 of you working on the model, that's not going to take too long. Last thing, so I got that area roughly sorted out. You can see I'm going to have to put in a sill. It does show a sill on this particular family. It's not a great one, to be honest with you. I might extrude in a window board there just to cover that. And I might extrude out plaster just to cover that. We can cover those in a lot. One is 20, one is 10 details that you're doing later. And then here we get into the parapet. That's what way we're going to do that. So there's that CLT sitting on that beam. That's fine. That might allow me to take up this exterior wall up to around here or something like that. And then I will repeat maybe this detail on the inside, right, without the surface cavity, but I'd insulate that and maybe do a render or something like that, depending on what kind of finish I'm putting on the flat roof here as well. And I have to create a fall within that. All right, so that'll be part of the strategy there as well. Okay, so I hope that was useful.